Hi there, Aries. I'm EllaAradia, and welcome to your April 2026 Psychic Tarot reading. This reading is for my Aries fire signs, where we'll be exploring the overall energies and themes for the month ahead, as well as taking a deeper dive into how these might be playing out for you in your life. This is a general reading, so it's going to resonate a little bit differently for all of you. But what I find is there's always a shared theme that runs through the collective of all of you Aries signs. So it may show up in different areas of your life, in slightly different ways, but the theme is always the same. So take what feels aligned to you and just leave the rest. And before we jump in, a big thank you to all of you who are supporting my channel by liking and subscribing. So if you enjoyed this reading and you haven't already done that, please do. It helps the channel out a lot. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. And then you can get notified when the next videos are up. So Aries, let's jump in. So I always like to tune into the energies first, Aries, before I start pulling any cards. I just like to see what I get shown. Also a psychic reader, so I like to see what the universe kind of brings in. What I'm seeing is somebody who has closed up quite a challenging chapter of your life. And there's been a lot of tough lessons, a lot of, growing, learning. And it's all been leading to you stepping into what I can see is a whole new version of yourself, a very empowered version of yourself, where you're staying true to you, you're in alignment with who you truly are. You've regained your power. Because I definitely feel in the past there's been a lot of a sense of a loss of power, giving your power over to, people, places, situations that might have been going on, or feeling like you've just been, kind of losing yourself somehow. And what I am seeing about this is I feel that you have chosen to, really learn from whatever experiences you've been through, rather than, letting it affect you, in a negative way moving forwards. You've chosen to find the blessings and the learnings of these situations. And I really do feel like you have stepped into a much more empowered version of yourself. It's been like a process of self-discovery sometimes. And it's kind of these moments when you come out of, a period of quite a challenging time that's gone on for a long time. And you finally manage to break free from that and move forwards. And then it takes a little while, but then some months pass. And it's that old saying, like, I'm telling you, you're not going to recognize yourself this time next year. You won't know yourself because you will have come so far and grown so much. And I'm just feeling like a very, very empowered energy and a lot of, new beginnings, moving forwards, experiencing yourself in different ways. Your current energy is the Three of Swords. Now, this is a card often of heartbreak, of loss, sometimes separation, and dealing with, sometimes very challenging emotions. Let me just pull the other cards first. What lies in your recent past is the Star. This is really just echoes of what I just said. What I'm also seeing around you is, and it may be more than one person, but there's one person that sort of holds the strongest charge for me. And it may be an acquaintance, somebody at work or a friend, but there's someone around you, I feel, which is kind of struggling to relate, to this new version of you. And it could also be your partner for some of you. And This may be something you feel like you've had to let go of or move on from, or it may have simply created a bit of distance between you and this person. And, that might be what these challenging emotions are. The Three of Swords, it's a very powerful card, especially in terms of learning. They have that saying that the wounds in the heart are where the light gets in. And it can be a tough lesson, it can be challenging, but sometimes, we make the biggest kind of shifts and growth from the most challenging times in our lives. And when I see the star there, that's some kind of renewal. And for me, whenever I see the star, I always, think of it being about understanding, the higher lessons of a situation, understanding the soul lessons. And through doing that, that's how you bring your power back to yourself. It's about taking accountability and looking at what is it in me that has attracted this situation, because everything that happens to us, it's always illuminating something to us, a way to grow or an invitation to, step up into something in ourselves. And the figure on the card here, this is what I mean. This is what I'm talking about. She's naked. And this actually represents you, not being afraid to be seen for who you truly are. Not being afraid, to express your true authentic self. And that's exactly the energies I'm feeling that you have moved into. So you've changed a lot. You've grown from the past. You've learnt the lessons. Maybe there are, for some of you, some connections that you've had to cut ties with, take a step away from. And, there might be a sense of loss in that also. With your current energies, the Wheel of Fortune. Now, this is a card of divine timings and orchestrations. And for me, when I look at this card, I always think of it as, your destiny in motion. So whatever has gone down in the past, however difficult that's been, somehow it's something which has set you on a different path because you're meant to walk a different path. This is the energy of the universe, coming in at a certain moment and moving, people, places, situations. Sometimes it can be a sudden diversion or change. But it's always one which is for your highest and best because you're meant to walk a different path. And, this is the kind of path where you're in your power and you're not afraid to express that and you're not afraid to be seen. And you may have had some, challenging energies around you in the sense of what I'm seeing that sometimes, your presence, when somebody moves into a very empowered energy in themselves and they're happy and they're shining and they're full of inspiration, that's what I'm seeing here, Aries. Sometimes it triggers the people around us, it brings up their fears and insecurities, like they might see you as perhaps having something that they feel they might lack. And I am seeing somebody around you where exactly that is going on. And, it does feel like somebody that you do care about, but you may have had to cut ties. You may have had to take a little step back from this person. In whatever area of your life this resonates, like I said, that could be a friend, acquaintance, it could be somebody at work, your partner. And sometimes, that person struggles to relate, to perhaps this new empowered version of us. So your feelings towards your situation, the Five of Wands, this is a card of competition, of conflict. For those of you that relates to career, I'm just getting that right now. There may have been competition in the workplace, and there may have been more than one of you kind of competing for perhaps a new job or a promotion or something like that. And you've kind of almost been put against each other, and something fell through for you. But somehow I feel like it was meant to be. Because whatever your situation was that you were in, your light was not shining, I feel, as brightly as it could have been. I feel like there was something going on where you're kind of settling for less, you're letting things slide. And ultimately, that affects our happiness. It affects, particularly in the workplace, feeling appreciated and feeling like, we're growing and reaching our full potential. And, there's a little bit of a stuck feeling. We're never really stuck, but it feels like that sometimes. And with the Wheel of Fortune there, this is some kind of diversion. And through whatever conflict this has been for you, it's brought you into the energies of the star here, this renewal. And it's also important to remember with that card as well, the star is a guiding light, and you are always being guided. There is, being guided by the universe, but there's also a higher intelligence inside of us that's always guiding us forwards and always guiding us to, let's say, a better place or a place of more light, or guiding you towards, what you're truly aligned with. So in the challenge, the Five of Swords, we've got a lot of energies of conflict here. And I definitely feel like someone around you who just looks really triggered, that there's jealousy, which, of course, it comes from a place of, like I was saying before, of feeling like, you have something they don't. And very often when we move into a very inspired energy, like not for everybody, but sometimes, for example, if the person you're dealing with, doesn't feel like they're connected to their purpose, they don't feel like they have a direction, and suddenly, you're connecting into this new path and all this inspiration, it can be very triggering. And, there may have been some conflict, because I do get the sense of somebody kind of, almost saying kind of snappy things and things like that. And deep down inside, I feel like there may also be, particularly for those of you that this does relate to somebody who is close to your heart, sometimes fears of loss can come up. They might fear to lose you because, you've grown and you've changed, and on some level they want to be happy for you, but it might bring up those kind of little fears and insecurities which might be manifesting as, a certain behavior here. And in the challenge position there, it might be about perhaps responding with compassion, like choosing peace over conflict. For those of you, that do want to keep that connection, for some of you, it might be about cutting ties with this person and cutting ties with anybody that, doesn't feel healthy for you. The hidden influence is the Three of Pentacles. That's your networking card. That's all about you going out there right now, Aries, being your true self, recognizing, what you have to offer, what makes you, authentic. Recognizing, your skills and abilities and what you have to share. It's about absolutely owning that and connecting with others, moving forwards. This is about networking, sharing, bringing what you have to offer to the table as well as sharing with others with a view perhaps to, you know, some kind of long-term goal here. I often think of the Three of Pentacles as, you know, my collaboration card. So there's been a big change, and somehow, you know, it's really brought you into your power, but the road hasn't been easy with all this conflict there, that's for sure. So with your advice from the universe, the Two of Cups, stay true to what you want. You know, like, don't dim your light just because, you know, it might trigger others, or, you know, they might feel uncomfortable perhaps. You know, this is about staying aligned to what you really want, because the Two of Cups, sometimes this can be soulmate energy. You know, it's two people choosing each other from a deep place of mutual trust. And it's these equal energies of, you know, giving and receiving, masculine and feminine. So it's soulmate energy, but it's also an energy that comes up when somebody is connecting, you know, to their life purpose. For those of you, you know, that this relates more to love, I also get for some of you, you know, this might be a love connection where there's been some kind of third-party influence here, because in a love reading, the Three of Pentacles can sometimes indicate that. And there's been conflict, competition, conflict. But somehow, again, like I was saying, the theme's the same. It's about you staying true to you and what you truly want, and not settling for less here, and going where you do feel, you know, appreciated and valued, and what you have to give is being reciprocated to you. So in the outcome, we have the Empress. This is some kind of rebirth for you, Aries. This is all about new beginnings, rebirth, you know, new ideas that you're going to manifest, new ways of showing up in yourself. You know, the Empress is an energy that's always birthing something new. And that is what you're moving into. You're letting go of what no longer serves you, and you're moving into some kind of what I feel is a very significant new chapter or new beginning for you. So Aries, I'm going to leave that there. If this reading resonated, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, no matter what comes through in a reading, moving forwards, always trust what feels right for you. So thanks so much for being here, and I wish you a great month ahead.